Hey guys, I'm Gabe, and this is Sheldon. It's a 1978 VW bus. I got it over a year ago, and it's been sitting in my garage for about 9 months because the transmission. But now it's backed on the road for summer, and yeah, I'll take you on a little tour here. So we got the driving quarters. It's a bit messy, but this seat spins around like 180 degrees. So if you move this water jug, you can have a nice little sort of kitchen area, and then come around the other side. It's like the champagne edition, so it used to be brown. I didn't paint it green. The person before me did, and the body's pretty straight. It's got a lot of Bondo in it. I don't know. It's good enough for me. You can see like the bottom of the doors. They're kind of rusting out, but besides that, it's got the brown trim, which is the champagne, and then the brown dash as well. And yeah, so this is the driving quarter. No airbags or anything. Like you're the crumple zone basically. So not the safest. So this is like the main cabin. So yeah, like I keep like my dishes and food in there. It's not super organized, but and then pop top. I don't really use this that much. I just sort of pop it up for cooking because I like to like place a little propane stove right here, and then you can stand up and put dishes on here, whatever you got to do, and then you got your sink later for washing up, and yeah, the holding tank is like in there for the sink, and then the motor. The table, which swings out like that. And usually I don't actually have it in the van because it's sort of a nuisance and it's better to eat outside. But if it's raining out, it's pretty sweet to have. I don't know if you can see this. We pop up over here, but there's like the ice box. It's a fridge, and like there's the breaker for it. But I just sort of use it as an ice box because I don't have an auxiliary battery. And then in here, you got the wardrobe with a mirror and some hangers. And then you got more storage up here and back there as well. And then under the seat, like I got my camera in there and just some random shenanigans there, and like my 110 plugins as well. It's got the original motor, I believe it's 2000 cc, and yeah, I kept everything pretty stock. I took the heater out because I didn't really want it or need it, especially in the summer. And yeah. If you're at a campsite or somewhere and you want to like plug in, then this is like a really long, I think it's like 10 or 15 feet, and you can just plug that in somewhere and then flip the breaker, and then you have power in the van. But my buddy like left it out, like hanging, and we were driving up a road in Saturna, and like the ground cable kind of got scraped off. So yeah, I don't know, the whole electronic thing kind of scares me. You know, it's like a 35-year-old cord, and so I have a fire extinguisher that I like to keep up front, because like the biggest thing is oh, here's a good piece of advice: check your fuel lines, because the two fuel lines that lead to the engine, they're like, if they disconnect, it drips right onto the exhaust. So that's usually where people have like fires. That's sort of like a really common, well, not really common, but a scary thing for like air-cooled bus drivers. So I like to keep my fire extinguisher that's actually empty right now. Usually it's not. It's right here just in case of emergency. I've only had one fuel leak, so and luckily it wasn't in the place I was just talking about. So you can usually smell it, and then hopefully it's not too late. I think my one piece of wisdom here is to always carry a jerry can with you, because there's been numerous times where I'm in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and the fuel gauge was working, and like 3/4 of a tank was empty, but there was a lot of play in between when it actually hit empty, and I was too lazy to like, I could track like how many liters and how many miles I've gone, all this stuff, but I don't know, I didn't. And so I ran out of gas in the middle of nowhere. And then after that, like luckily someone picked me up, and I bought a jerry can, and I always keep it on the roof. But like right now I'm not, 'cause I'm just city driving. But yeah, this is the air-cooled model. So this is the cooling system right here. So sort of just wind blows into there, and that's what cools the engine down. So like last summer I went to Oregon with my girlfriend, and we had to take like 2-hour breaks every now and then. So you kind of drive early in the morning and then late at night, otherwise the engine overheats. So like driving into Portland, it was, I think it was like the hottest bit of the summer. There was like a heat wave coming through, 30 degrees out, and we're just on the side of the road like just taking a nap because you just couldn't drive at all. So I don't know, it's got its quirks to it. Right now it's like it's a good temperature for it right here. So you got to take it slow. I mean, it goes slow anyways. We're going like 30k up hills, and there's like 15 cars behind us, and then you got to pull over because it's too hot. But I don't know, it's all part of the fun. Almost makes it worth it. So, yeah. Oh, and then I got the Yakima box up there. Like, yeah, I'd surf, and then my wetsuit, like I'd stick it inside in like a garbage bag or something, and it smelled like crap. So I thought that I would maximize the storage and the smell, and so I got a wetsuit in there, and just like, I don't know, other goodies. I had a boat, like a little Explorer 200 thing, which is always fun. And yeah, so that's been really awesome. And then like you can mount, like I've had kayaks, like 2 kayaks up here, or surfboards or whatever else you gotta get. So like for the van, I think the one thing is power, especially like because I like to make films and like just, yeah, capture the journey. So charging things, I like usually have to go to a coffee shop or something and just plug in for a couple hours, or like my buddy, sometimes he brings a gas generator. But I think, yeah, I wanted to mount some solar panels on the back, or even you can get like a Goal Zero charger that has a detachable solar panel, and I was thinking of putting it on the dashboard while I was driving, and then you can sort of like just place it wherever you want when you're camping. So yeah, the big thing is like power, or like an auxiliary battery, but that's more expensive. And then in terms of trips, I don't know, the 2 big ones would be like Alaska or South America would be really cool. But I think for this summer, California is going to be the happy medium between those 2. I knew what these vans were called. Like when I was super young, I thought they were the coolest things ever. Just the way that they looked and sort of the style that they had. And my uncle had one. He lives in Whistler, and I never actually like rode in it, but I just saw it in his driveway, and I was so enthralled by these things. So as soon as I was turned 18 and like was gonna buy my first car, like I wanted a Westie, my parents said no because it was unsafe. So then, you know, a year later, like when I left home, I was like, all right, I'm buying this car now. I can do whatever I want. So yeah, then I got it, and I don't know, it's just something about it, like just the style, or like the character that it has, and it's totally different, like driving it, than any other car. You got this massive oversized steering wheel, and the pedals, like usually like with a car they go into the firewall, but these ones go straight into the ground, so it's like you're actually driving a bus. And then I don't know, just the people that you meet too, like the whole community of people that drive Volkswagens. Everyone's super nice, and people will pull you over and just want to talk with you, and yeah, it's just a really neat sort of community and feeling around it all. Starting out on a little film initiative, so kind of just making travel videos. So yeah, you can find me on YouTube. It's just Gabriel Swift is the channel name, or on Instagram, same thing, Gabriel C. Swift. So hopefully there'll be a lot more content coming in the summer, which would be great. You grab these 2 little things here, and then you just pull it out. And there we go. Now it's a bed. Yeah, I have 2 sleeping bags. Sometimes I'll have, I don't know, just like in the winter, a sleeping bag's pretty warm, but for the summer, like just like a duvet or like a couple sheets or something, because it gets really hot in here. And then you can pop these windows open, and yeah, I just picked this up at Walmart. It was like 30 bucks. I mean, this is pretty, like this is a big piece of foam, but you gotta be extra comfy, like you're glamping anyways. So I put that thing on, and yeah, it's green, so it matches the outside really poorly. And then yeah, and then you got all your curtains that you can do up, and then there's a front curtain. So this curtain basically goes from here, and then it goes all around the front window, so you're completely locked out. And I mainly sleep like here because it's just sort of more stealthy. Not that it's like obviously people know you're sleeping in your van, but I don't know. And it's warmer too, especially in the winter because there's just more insulation up here. That is very, very cold, and if it's raining, it's sort of miserable. So comparing this van to like any other tiny spaces that I've lived in, like a sailboat. Like I just bought a sailboat for $300. It's a 26 footer. You can't. I think standing up is one of those things that you gotta take for granted. But it's very like the pop top is great because you can actually like standing up while cooking or just moving things around. Like it's such a small space that it's a luxury that is really worth having. In terms of, I think the biggest thing, honestly, like in the summertime, van life is really easy and it's really enjoyable. But then in the winter time is sort of a whole different ballgame. Like I've experimented with Mr. Buddy heaters and all that stuff, but I don't know, the whole propane heating sort of scares me. And then like the whole bathroom situation is another thing in and of itself. So I think with the boat, like the boat has a head on it, so it has a toilet and everything, and I think like that's one of the big things is like this, like you're self-contained. Besides that, sort of those things that people don't really talk about, and that's like the hardest part of it is like, yeah, finding a place to shower, finding a place to go to the washroom, and like finding a place to sleep. Maybe that's the biggest thing. I don't know, like hotel parking lots are usually good as long as you're out of there pretty quick, and then like Walmarts, obviously, and like logging roads or like Forest Service roads in BC are really awesome as long as you can get down them. Like they're always a good bet, and usually people are pretty nice. Like I was in Port Hardy and this guy approached me and was like, yeah, you can sleep in my driveway tonight and you can have power, like you can plug in your power and whatever. And so like people are usually pretty chill about it. I've never had an incident or like any sort of problem about being awoken, or like, because I know like in Victoria I'm pretty sure it's against the law to like sleep in your car. So yeah, just check the bylaws and know where you are and sort of be cognizant of that.
On the next episode.
Hi, I'm Simon.
And I'm Erin from Australia.
Gone onto Craigslist and found a boat in Vancouver called the Narwhal. We handed over a large sum of money and he disappeared for 2 weeks. So we were worried that he was just going to run away with our money.
We were worried that it wasn't even his boat.
But yes, we bought the boat and the plan is to we've been restoring it for 3 months solid and now we're going to sail it back to Australia.
Make sure to hit subscribe so that you don't miss out on these weekly episodes. And for those wanting to support this series, there is a link to our Patreon in the description. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next Monday.